In this video, we are going to select fabrics for Dream Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. And there are a few things that we are going to talk through with regards to color and placement. One thing that I would encourage you, if you are creating like a bucket list quilt, or you're piecing through places that you haven't been yet, or different places in parks that you haven't been, is to look at lots of pictures on the internet or Instagram to get an idea of coloring. Because depending on the day or depending on the time of the day, the coloring can be very, very different. So this part here is in a shadow, and the sun, when it shines, is going to be casting light here, and then the most light is going to be here in the part of the glacier. Sometimes the sun does shine here and here, but this is almost always the lightest part. So we're going to be working with different value. And I had chosen some more rock colors for the English paper piecing pattern, but for the foundation paper piecing tutorial, I am going to be using some purples. The Rocky Mountains really are purple in the evening when the sun is setting, and then in the early morning. It's just really an amazing, amazing color. So I'm going to be using that as my inspiration, and I was looking at some photos on Instagram, and I love this fabric. So my initial thought was that I was going to be using a sunset. So I had two different fabrics that I had chosen. I'm going to try to keep this here so that you can kind of imagine what I'm doing, and then we're going to transfer it over to the paper template. So I have this really nice gradient, and I thought, oh, this would be really great, or even these here, to really play off of the purple. I wanted to do something different. I have a lot of blues in this quilt, so I really wanted to have some of the sunset colors that we have in the Rockies. The other fabric that I have is this lovely batik that I have used several times previously, and I love that these just create a really nice sunset. But as I was looking through photos, I noticed that this part of the bowl really becomes orange in the evening, because the way the sun is reflecting off of it. I have so much orange and brown in this quilt that I wanted to have some more purples. I wanted to bring out more of the purple mountain majesty instead of the really lovely oranges. So I decided to abandon my idea of a sunset, and I opted for more of a sunrise. So I was really committed to using this fabric because it's just so lovely, and I think it's just really going to bring another color. So when I'm selecting fabrics, if I have something that I am dead set on, I'll work around it and see if I can make the other fabrics that I have work, and then sometimes I end up getting another idea and I abandon it completely. So then I had selected this fabric for here, and originally I was going to use this for in here, but looking at pictures again, I decided that I would use this up here and right here, and then I would bring in this lovely light purple for this highlighted area, because the sun really is reflecting. So this is going to be kind of night, perhaps early morning. This color will be the color that I use for the rocks. I do want to have some highlight, because in my mind the moon is going to be reflecting off of kind of this area here, reflecting off of the light and reflecting off of the water. Oh, and I should mention that this is where I originally started, but I don't know that I have enough of this color. I love this color more than I love this one. I feel like this one's a little bit more muted than I would prefer. I would love this one, but I'll have to see if I have enough for all of the pieces. Okay, so then the next place that I went is I have this really amazing night sky, and I thought, oh, this would just be perfect to have still more of the purples and really playing off of these other colors, so that you can really get the impression of the night is just totally lit up. So if you've been following along with the last few videos, I've used this all over. I used it for the redwood block. I am blanking on the last one that I used this for, but you know, most of the time we would look at this and we'd say, oh, those are trees. However, I want you to think of fabrics in a different way. If we just turn it this way, it looks like it's a reflection, because all we're going to be using is just a little segment like this. So just these different little nuances is really going to change the entire way that our eye reads this fabric. It won't read any longer as tree fabric, but it'll have more of an illusion of the water moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these over to the side, so then I know where I want these to be. And I am going to mark this in two places. Normally I just mark it on this one, but because I'm using a few more colors than I normally would, I want to make sure that I do get the colors correct. And I have children, so I never know what colors I'm going to end up with. So we're going to grab a few purples, and it doesn't have to be exact. You just need to have something so that it triggers your brain to remember, oh, I need this color. So let's see, that's a brown, navy blue. I need a light purple. I know that I'm going to use this one for the light purple. And I think I'll end up just marking all of the sky with this, so then it just reminds me that this is the sky fabric. And this part down here also becomes the sky. So we'll set that aside. I think B3 is going to be green, and I did not select a green, so I will have to select one more color, so then I have a nice green, and I'm going to find something that's a little bit dark, but I didn't pull that. So all of this is going to be a green, so I'm going to mark these, and I'm going to choose something that is fairly dark. And let's see, this is going to come down here, and this is going to be a rock, so this is all going to be green. And let's choose this for the rock color. There's not much of a differentiation, but we'll go with it. And then this green is going to be my lake color, and I think this needs to be also that color. Okay, so I always refer back to my reference photo, or in my case the reference block. So we're going to use the medium. We'll use the lightest color. So this part here is going to be the lightest, and then we'll have this be the medium, and this be the medium, and then we have the darkest bits here. Okay, so we don't need these. Then you'll just transfer all of this over to your template. And remember that this is the front of the pattern, and the reference photo is the front of the pattern. We sew on the back side, so this is going to be the back side. So sometimes I like to put these side by side, so then I know where these are. And these have some really good color gradients, but it might be a little bit tricky still. So let's start with the parts that we know are going to be the green color that I haven't selected yet, but you will see it in the next part. So those are all going to be that color. I'm done with that one. And we can see the sky pretty easily is up here. You could also mark these with a pencil, just writing what they are. Whatever works for you. This is what works for me. I tend to see color instead of really seeing anything else. So I'm just going to mark this as rock. Okay, so then we have, it's really easy if we've marked it on the front. Then all we do is we just look for the corresponding number. It becomes kind of like a paint by number sort of thing. And I do think that I'll have enough of this one. So I think I'm going to lead with that because that is my preference. So we have B1, A4, 5, and 6. The other thing I want you to take note of is I'm not coloring it in entirely. All I'm doing is just kind of coloring over the number, so then it just triggers in my mind that is what that is. And then A3 and A2. So there you go. The next step will be to cut apart all of these pieces, and I'm going to show you one of these smaller pieces to show you just the simple steps. And then everything is all the same. It doesn't matter how big or how little these are. You have the same steps every single time. So that's the second step I'll show you. I think I'm going to do this one. And then in the third part, I will show you, once I've sewn all of these together, I will show you how I sew the templates together and how I get the corners to match up. So really, 3 simple steps. So I'll see you in the next video.